Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on managing user requests successfully with SharePoint and Office 365 and including Microsoft Teams. This is oriented towards both SharePoint on-premises and Microsoft Office 365, whether you use SharePoint, Teams, and that. So we'll go through that, managing user requests in those systems as we go through this. So first, we'll just do a few slides, then we'll get into some demos. This is going to be a pretty demo-heavy webinar. But we do a few slides to begin with here, and we'll get that going right now. Okay, I am Scott Restivo, President and CEO of Crow Canyon Software. We have been around for 21 years, since 1999, building applications and other tools, I guess you could say, on top of the Microsoft collaboration platforms, whether it was the Exchange server way back when, but for the last good 15 years or so, it's been the SharePoint environment. And then now it's very heavy into both SharePoint and Microsoft Office 365, including the Teams world. So what we're doing here is bringing organizations the ability to create a digital workplace, a digital transformation to bring their systems from whatever old legacy programs they're using, whether it's paper or emails or spreadsheets, or it could even be InfoPath forms, whatever older technologies into the modern capabilities with mobile, cloud, and everything that's promised. They're presented by the Microsoft SharePoint on premises or Microsoft Office 365 and SharePoint Online up in the cloud. Crow Canyon, what we do here, we have business applications. So we have a dozen or so business applications that can be used right out of the box if you want to just get going with a help desk or asset management or equipment tracking program, work orders, purchasing, HR, covering most of the core business functionality and that almost any organization needs in their environment. So we have those developed. We also have Nitro Studio, which is our no-code application creation platform. It's a forms and workflows with printing, and it also has some extended features, which I'll go into a bit today, about bots, Teams integration, and other things that are really cool leading edge stuff that's really transforming the request management world from simply like forms based to more conversational and interactive with the end user, so they get their answers quicker, they get their responses faster, and staff is relieved of some of their workload that is involved when you're dealing with paper forms or legacy forms or really form-based systems. Okay, we also do a lot of custom solutions that we build for people who come to us and say, hey, we have this need, can you do it for us? And we're like, yep, sure, we do it. So, we work that out with them on the Office 365 platform or the SharePoint world. And now we're doing a lot with AI, artificial intelligence and bot services. And Microsoft has the Azure Cognitive Services. We're deep into it, and we're seeing that as a really way to go forward with our applications and make them really as useful and fully capable as possible. So what we're a preferred partner. Microsoft been for many years of their whatever program they have at the moment, but this is Microsoft 365 business applications. We're in that. We were going around to numerous shows for the last 5-10 years until COVID hit. We were going to probably 2 shows a month. You might have seen us there at them all around US, also overseas in Europe. And of course, that's come to a halt, due to COVID. So we're doing a lot more online webinars and things like that. We're based in California, and we're a California certified small business, do a lot of work with the state government, not only in California, but all throughout the US and also in other countries, Australia, Canada, UK. And we also do work not only with federal, state, county, local governments, and also military, non-quasi-government agencies. But that's not just that, we're also in many, many industries, whether it's education. Big one is healthcare lately. We're doing a lot with healthcare. So that's, whatever industry you're in, I'm sure we can help you out with our software and our programs. And we're really just enhancing the Microsoft platforms that they bring to you. Microsoft does all the base platform there, and we're bringing enhancements and adjuncts that really make it powerful and useful for you at your organization. Now, one thing I'm going to make a promo a little bit here is the InfoPath replacement. We're doing a lot. If you have InfoPath forms, outdated, and we've done numerous webinars. We have a whole resource site on this. But if you are into a place where you're replacing your InfoPath forms, or any legacy forms really, now also the SharePoint Designer Workflows from 2010 and 2013, also Access forms or Lotus Notes, and that old school stuff, we're here to help you move to a more modern situation that has much more capabilities. So just if that's on your mind, InfoPath replacement, we're there. And we have a lot of resources on it, including this ebook and a whole website on it also that can help you move from info path, or really the same principles apply to any legacy platform that you're using. And we can move you over to the Nitro Studio, which is really running on top of the Microsoft platform of SharePoint or Office 365. Okay, speaking specifically about request management using SharePoint, Teams, and Office 365, this slide is really just saying there's many ways that requests are, many departments, many aspects to requests and what they are. So, there might be an IT trouble tickets, there might be hardware requests, facilities might be fixes, moves, work orders, contract, request a new contract or an update to a contract. Human resources, there's a whole boatload of requests going on there, whether it's onboard, leave, benefit, and purchasing. Also, it's request something, request a purchase order, check voucher, whatever. These are all areas we have our fingers in with our request management. Some of them are specific programs like IT Help Desk, but others we take a more general request management approach and then apply the same principles to whatever needs you have that may be very particular to your organization. Like we were just working with a county government, just top of mind kind of thing, and they have a very specific form that they have to fill out for their sheriff department. And that was, it doesn't fit in any of the existing categories, but through our request management system and its flexibility, we're able to provide what they need. Okay, so many different ways to manage requests that don't work so well, such as email spreadsheets, old legacy systems, paper forms, enterprise software. So the whole thing is here, Nitro Studio to the rescue, right? So here we have forms, workflows, reporting portals, modern UI, chatbots, database integration, a whole slew of capabilities that we've developed over the years. I mean, we've been doing this, like I said, 20 years or so. And even before then, before this company started, I was doing it, in the 90s, 80s, and 90s. Anyway, the point is that this is a long haul, a lot of experiences embedded in this, and we have development teams working on making this better. And this is not meant as a replacement per se of, say, you use Microsoft Power Platform or other Microsoft tools. These are adjuncts that fill in the cracks or make it so that we have found that those tools such as Power Apps doesn't quite fill the need for a real application development environment. So a Nitro Studio certainly fills the bill for that and is in use at thousands or more places around the world, large organizations with small user bases or large user bases. Okay, a couple more slides and we're into the demos. SharePoint, Office 365 icons down here. Also, we're going to put Teams in down here. Nitro Studio brings you an additional layer that's we're able to create these applications for you, or you can go in and create your own applications from this, which really means fill the needs that you have maybe that are being done by those legacy systems I just pointed out, email, spreadsheets, info paths, access. All those can be replaced by going to the SharePoint Office 365 platform, and then using our Nitro Studio with its forms, workflows, action portals, reports, chatbots, whatever aspects of those are important, and then building the solution based on that, and then getting a real ROI on the whole process so that you go from legacy to modern with cloud capabilities, available anywhere. You have mobile, so it shows up on a smartphone. If you need to do approvals or forms on a smartphone, it's there. So it's very flexible platform. Now, one thing I want to do, it's it for the PowerPoint, except at the end there's a thank you slide or something like that. So right now I'm going to go over to a poll, because what's important in this webinar is to understand if you are on your, what version of SharePoint you are on. So it's simple, multi-choice. I'm going to launch that poll right now, and if you don't mind taking a minute or so to help me out there and answer that. You can answer it in multiple choice if you need to. Okay, I'm gonna close that and we get going. What is interesting about that, I could share it. Here we go. I don't quite see it on my screen, but it's there. I'm imagine showing the poll results, and you can see that over 82%. I mean over 80, so 82% to be exact, are on Microsoft Office and SharePoint Online. And it seems like there's some people doing multiple because it doesn't add up to 100, obviously. So there's people doing some multiple systems, both on premises and Office 365. So okay, I'll hide that and we'll get going. Back to my screen. All right, what I'm showing right now is an HR request system. I have a HR request system. Also, there's a leave request system. I mean, I'm not a leave, access request system that I'll be showing you soon. I wanted to point this out that the first consideration that, I think about this webinar, I think, okay, what I'll address is how are requests submitted as the first really key point. there has to be a user engagement where they submit a request. So here is a SharePoint backend. This is like what we've been doing for years with SharePoint, because Teams didn't exist. Or if you're on SharePoint on premises, this is what you get is this interface. This is the classic UI in a SharePoint, and it's going to, it does the job. It gives you a list of tickets or requests that people have made in different categories, and then you can work at it from there. Now in the SharePoint 2019, somewhat, but mostly in the Office 365 world, we have the modern UI here. So I can show you the modern UI, what the modern UI looks like by dragging that one over here. So just to make the point that the applications we have work either in classic or modern. Here's a modern UI look, for example, of an access request system, requesting access to a database or whatever, or to a facility, whatever. And here's one making HR requests in the classic. So there's different ways you can view this or whatever works. So the point here I'm going to go into right now is that when our experience is that when you try to drive a user to going to the SharePoint interface, you get a lot of clutter, a lot of it isn't the most friendly design, I don't think. It's our experience. The user adoption of SharePoint was a little bit low because of that, I believe. So we find a lot of our people doing requests at first, years ago, really, were doing email. So user can simply send email to HR@company.com or HR request@company.com. I need leave, I need this. And so they would send an email, and then the back end, the admins would come here and work the tickets, because they would get, the HR people or the IT people or the database people, whatever request system it is, will come in here, they get notified, they know the category, they can assign it to somebody. So it becomes a very functional system for the staff. But then for the end user, they're just getting emails back and forth. It's not really they're engaging with the system. So we came up with this portal concept. So now you can see there's an enormous difference between what I was just showing you of this screen and of this screen right here. This is a portal screen so that users can come and have a really, maybe the word's gentler, I don't know, but a more engaging or simpler, perhaps, interface where they can just really get the work done they need to do. Again, this is SharePoint backend. The data is kept here. If I make a leave request right here, it's going to be entered over here into the system on the back end. It opens up a form. The form is highly configurable using our Nitro Studio. It can look many, many different ways, whatever information you want to gather. It can also act dynamically if you want to, show different fields upon different selections made in the drop list, et cetera, et cetera. And you can put whatever fields you want in here as according to what you need, whatever you need the form to look like. We can put it in there. It pulls information from AD and then submits it. So it makes it nice and easy for the user to submit a form, submit a request. And you could build these tiles any way you want. We have portal settings right here, but the admin can go in and make up all the tiles they want to create these specific tickets, or a person can create a new request from scratch. They also can go gather information. There might be some links right here, like an FAQ for the HR system or whatever system you're using. Database FAQs, IT service FAQs, whatever. And you also view your existing requests as the logged in user. And this is great for isolation. So that means that this user will only see his or her requests and not the whole back-end SharePoint. There's many reasons to move forward into this portal framework, which is a separate site with separate permissions from the back-end SharePoint and SharePoint HR system. Hope that's making sense. The back-end SharePoint system, this is great for managing the data at an admin, at a staff level, people who need to work the tickets and fulfill them and fulfill, whatever you want to call it, the request. But for the end user, you want to have a simple, nice, big buttons and all this. And of course, this works on the it's a responsive design working on the mobile. So it makes it really easy for the person to submit a request. That's, I would call, stage 2. Stage 3 will go in a little bit later in this webinar, which is the bots. Now the bots take a whole different approach, but let's do portals first, and then we'll go to bots, okay? If that's right. If you're on premises, you can use this. The bots are more for Teams and Office 365. If you're on premises, this works perfectly fine. Now, let me just show you some other things you can do with this before I go into a little more on the portal as a way to engage the users, empower the users in a really way that makes they want to use the system. Okay, rather than email. Emails, they can't view their own requests with email. They don't get all that structure that's involved in a form. When you open up a leave request form on the portal, it already has users information in it. It has, you know, drop lists. Everything's more structured, which makes the processing of that form so much easier and fluid and everything. Okay, here's some things you could change the logo if you wanted. You could go, one thing I was going to show you can actually change the background image. Let me choose a file that I have here. Where's a file? I was going with this one right here, and then upload that, and you can see that it's very easy to modify this portal to have your own settings that you want in it, according to your own corporate look. So I just changed that background to this, you know, a world polygon map or whatever it is. It looks a little cooler, I think. I'm gonna leave it like that. I like that better. I like that better than that. So, you know, you can see how you can have fun with it, dressing it up to make it whatever is appealing to the end users. Of course, you can change all the Crow Canyon information to your information, put your own logo in, et cetera, et cetera. Pretty interesting, I think. You know, it's pretty good stuff. Also, inevitably, we get to ask the question, but does it work in the modern UI? Well, here's the modern UI portal that we did. This is highly configurable by going into edit mode and then modifying it for all the different web parts that you can have access to. And Crow Canyon has a whole list of modern UI web parts that we can put in here, you know, that we make available to you as part of the Nitro Studio that you can put in. And this is just showing that it does work in the modern design. And here we have a Twitter feed from Microsoft. We have some weather coming in. You know, whatever you want to do to fancy up your portal, you have the control over it, which is cool. And this is, I'm going into edit mode here and show you that you can come in and add web parts, left, right, and whatever, you know, how many as you want. Once you go to the edit of this, you can start adding web parts of all kinds. And I'll just show you some examples of this. And now if you're into the modern design of a modern design page, you'll see you'll be familiar with this. But if you're not, it's really something that is fun to work with and play around with. You can put any of these web parts, these are called, from different vendors, mostly Microsoft, whatever, into there. You know, even Kindle Instant Preview, isn't that wild? But a lot of images, links, Bing Maps, you know, all this. Now, Crow Canyon, that's us. We created all these other ones that are suitable for applications. We have a whole page on it on our website. Modern UI web parts. We describe what they are in detail, but here you can see some of them here: cataloging, a reporting webinar, so you can put reports onto your modern UI, your dashboards. We have those are the tiles and dials. You know, knowledge-based search, list roll-up, tiles, progress. I mean, all kinds of things we're doing here to enhance your ability to present a interface to your end users that is really engaging and interesting and useful. Kind of a, you know, it blends into intranet world, doesn't it? Sort of intranet kind of style. So, you know, and it can be coordinated with whatever intranet you have. So from your intranet, if you have one, you can link over to this page, and then they have like a HR, or it could be multi-departmental, or it could be just an HR focused kind of portal, and, you know, departmental or broader, you know, employee self-service. Then you're going to have the ability to, let's say, card changes and go back to where we were. Your ability to present this information in a really interesting and engaging way for them. You know, they can search a knowledge base. You can ask them if they want to do a survey even, you know, here. I mean, all kinds of fun stuff you can do with this portal. You know, do you like my hat? No, I don't like your hat, you know. A reference to Go Dogs Go, if no one read that book. Anyway, so here we are with all this again, all this forms, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, that's it, right? You can put this portal, have them submit a new ticket, you know, have them create a, what's this? Oh yeah, here we go. Here, create, you know, right from here, click what finance requests, facilities requests, IT support requests, new hire, you know, whatever is here can be set up. And this is what drives your digital workplace forward. You know, you're getting users engaged, and they're using, this could be on mobile device or something, they click a lot, and they get the ability to create many, many different forms, as well as having this interface where they're getting a lot of good information that's useful for them. And perhaps we'll even preempt them creating a ticket, you know, by maybe they go to knowledge base and find it, or, you know, they don't have to ask you how you do a leave request. All this goes into the back-end system, following all the workflows and custom actions, et cetera, that are in the Nitro Studio system that we have, that rely on the bottom at the bottom of the SharePoint and Office 365, the enormous capabilities of those platforms. So we're just leveraging what Microsoft brings you to bring you more and more capabilities to your organization manage these kind of requests. That if you are doing it in the older legacy systems and whatever, yeah, you know, there's many reasons, let's put it that way, to move forward. You just got to convince management to, you know, spend the money basically to update, and it will be totally worth it because the ROI is there. People get done quicker, more mobile devices, more devices all over. They get the answers. Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, come on, it's where the world's going, right? You got to go there. So you can't stick with forms that were created. You know, InfoPath forms stopped development in 2013. That's 7 years ago, and it wasn't even cloud. I won't go through the whole spiel, but people just cling to them because they're there. You know, it's like the devils you know, first angels you haven't met. So we just like, you're missing out on a lot of this new technology if you stick with the legacy forms, you know, and that kind of thing. And now we're even, I'm going to get to the bots soon. I know we only have so much time in this webinar. And again, I make a little plug here that if you are, you know, if this at all stimulates your interest, we'd love to have discussions with you, you know, on it. Like I said, we used to go to shows, meet people left, right, you know, hundreds of people every day, talk to them. And it was really interesting to hear what their stories were and what kind of experiences they were having with Microsoft, you know, whether good, bad, or whatever, you know, just to hear their stories. So, you know, we really like engaging with people and finding out what is your need, what are your requirements, what can we help you with, and you know, if there's something there, there's there. If it isn't, it isn't. But you know, this is not it's not going to be I think any kind of loss to you to spend some time looking at what is available through Crow Canyon and through our leveraging of the Microsoft platforms and the ways that we do. So let me show you a little more on Nitro Studio so we can talk more about that. And this is kind of the back end. This is the classic view. As I said, there's also a modern way of doing this. Let's look at the modern. Let's look at the access request system. Same idea. I'll show you some of the things the forms can do. You know, some of it is pretty standard form stuff. Some of it's really cool, depending, you know, it depends what you need done in your request system. It's not here just great fancy forms, though that's fun. It certainly is a lot of fun to do, actually. But it's also to fit your exact needs, you know, requirements there. So we have a lot of flexibilities in our forms designer of what it can do and how these fields are laid out. For instance, let's look at this form right here. This is one that it already has been kind of created. I do webinars sometimes. I create this from scratch during the webinar, but this webinar was not really focused on Nitro forms development. There is another one coming in I think a week from. They have me scheduled next week to do one specifically on Nitro Studio and what it can do. Let me show you some of the capabilities here. If I go to it, I'm looking at the type of, okay, we're asking for like database access in this form. If I go to add, it now opens up a part that says date of access. Is it perpetual or temporary access? Is it, what's the start date, the end date of this, you know, this access right here? So that you can do, you know, perpetual or temporary or whatever. Okay, that's one thing it can do. What if you go over to a database and SQL? It's now going to open up a section down the bottom that says SQL information that was only needed for an SQL, a SQL, whatever you want to call it, SQL. You know, information. If it's not SQL, then what do you need to have the information? So if you do, like, say, a different database like Oracle, all that disappears. Just showing you a very dynamic form. And then anything that's selected here can be used as information for the future workflow. I mean, when the item's created, there's a workflow that runs. So if the type of access is add to a database of Oracle, we can notify the Oracle admin. If it's modification or revoke or whatever, you know, different things happen. Modify, you know, revoke access, modify access. Just an example of the kind of things that can be done with this. Let's go look at modify. Now you can also do something where you say, well, is it for an employee or contractor? If it's a contractor, what's the contractor name? And, you know, from a list, it could be from a drop list you have in your system. And then what's the contractor's company? If you choose that, it'll put the company in too. And then, you know, submit the request, modify the rights for this contractor, a GT consulting or whatever, and for the Oracle database, and what do you want to do? And you could have it pop up if you had Oracle, specifically Oracle related database information. You could say, revoke the read write, revoke the, you know, whatever, or modify, add the read write, whatever you want to, you know, whatever your form can do, we will, you know, we put that in, or we help you, or you can do it with our forms designer. So I'm going to go segue over to that forms designer. for a moment, and we'll start to look at that and see what can go on with the Forms Designer. So here's the Forms. No, this is the Forms Showcase, showing you all the variety of forms that we can have done. Some can be very formal, you know. Some can be very. Let me make that a little larger for a moment so you can see it better. These are forms that can be created in Nitro Studio because sometimes we have to adhere to very strict compliance requirements of here we go right here. Compliance to governmental compliance or regulatory rules that say, you know, it has to look this way exactly. So all these were done in Nitro Studio. So if you do have an InfoPath form or another legacy form that you want to replicate, paper even, exactly, because you have to for some reason, you can put it into you know, Nitro Studio and have it look like whatever you need it to look like, and with the advantage of having all the workflows behind it that make it work. So what's that's done? That's done in our Forms Designer, which you're seeing right here. You go to Nitro Studio and you open up the Forms Designer, and you can choose what form you want to work on, and then you can just work on all these different capabilities of modifying this form quite easily, quite powerful, and you know, many advanced functions as well as basic functions. And you know, we can go into that, and next week there's a webinar on it. I don't want to delve too far into it, just give you kind of an overview that there's many things you can do with this forms control. You can add tabs, you know, add a new tab. You can put a table in if you want, you know, and start filling it in with different fields, you know, like requester right here. You can, you know, you can just all kinds of things. If you don't want to show the display name for that, you could. I mean, I could go into this. There's a lot you can do here. Let's just put it that way. Let's make it simple. A lot you can do to make it look how it comes out to looking like these forms like this, you know. Easy, fun, kind of enjoyable exercise to do if you like this kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun to do this and create these forms in the way that, you know, really meet the needs of the organization specifically. And then behind it, the form is not just the form. The form is also what happens. Well, there's different actions you can put in that make the form perform the way you want it to do, whatever that workflow is. Okay. Let's leave that for a moment. Any questions on the forms and everything like that, we can go into great detail with you on what's the capabilities of the Forms Designer. And back in Nitro Studio, you can see there's not only the Forms Designer here, there's workflows, reporting, there's portal capabilities. We looked at some of the portal earlier. Many capabilities here in the studio that enhance the basic Microsoft platform that they give you. And also at work, if you're using Power Platform or not, it's up to you. But if you are, you know, a lot of people use our forms, and they might use our workflows and then some Power Automate stuff. You know, I mean, it's a really useful way to make the Office 365 world really powerful and useful for you. Okay, many things you do here. One big thing is printing. It's been a really good tool in Nitro Studio among, you know, one of the other forms, workflows, and everything else. There's printing. You don't have printing in Power Apps, for example. So, but the printing can print out to Word templates, can print out invoices, purchase orders, certificates of completion, you know, whatever you need to do in very particular format that you need. A Word template or a template you create, put in there, Excel spreadsheet template. You can print out, you know, part of your application could be to generate a document at the end and then send it to people. You know, like somebody did access requests, so you give a certificate of access or something. I don't know. Send a work order out. Then we have the more advanced features of AI services, bots, the modern UI web parts, and the Teams integration, at least for the Office 365 world. So there we go with that. Nitro Studio. If you're interested in this, let's set up a demo, show you more what it can do, ask questions. Well, can it do this? Can it do that? A lot of our development over the last few years when we went into InfoPath replacement was, well, InfoPath does this, can you do that? And InfoPath does this, can you do that? And we've taken some ideas from InfoPath, admittedly, but, you know, basically we cover what InfoPath can do with ease, and also, you know, many other legacy systems, what they do with their forms designers, and then modernize it so that there's a lot more capabilities and take advantage of the full capabilities of Microsoft's world, and also of the cloud, mobile, and web in general. So let's go back to the request management system here and start to talk about bots, okay? Bots are quite interesting. Let me see, we go to the page. Okay, let me set up the scenario here. We have HR request system. Here's a request. Like I said, a person can send an email, a person can go to SharePoint, a person can go to the portal, but sometimes people don't, people are moving into teams, at least in the Office 365 world more. So how can we engage them with teams, right? So we have these two bots that we have, self-service and staff support bot. One is for self-service for end users, staff support is for staff, and I'll show you the functionality they do. Now, this is the Teams interface. You're all familiar with it, I'm sure. You have the bar on the left. You can get a bot, call up a bot either by doing a search or pinning it to the left, or it depends how your organization implements bots. It could be something you have to, but really essentially it's just like another user. It's another entity. It's, of course, not human, but it acts in that way as kind of like a person that you can you interact with, whether in personally, like one-on-one, like I'm doing now, or through a group chat, or through a channel. It can show up in a channel. But in this case, we're just going to talk to the bot and ask it for a leave request. Okay, let's do a leave request. Hello, bot. How are you today? Oop, that spelled that wrong. Hello, bot. Oh man, I'm not spelling anything right today. It doesn't matter. The bot doesn't matter. The bot doesn't care. Okay, here you go. So what application do you want to, it's saying what application do you want to work with? Well, we have this bot set up as a demo to go either IT Premium, HR, or Access request. So we're gonna do an HR request here. And what we're gonna say here is, I need a vacation. Show me the leave request form with a slash. Come on, fingers. My fingers are being a little fat fingered today. Come on, I gotta exercise them a little. You don't see me, but I'm exercising them a little here. All right. What it gave, okay, Mr. Bot, you call it some name if you want to give it an interesting name. I've seen names named Grace or Zoe or something like that, but we just gave it a kind of technical name, self-service bot. But Mr. Self-Service Bot has returned us a leave request information. Okay, what's this all about? So the bot has said, hey, here we are with our back, our portal we were just working on, and it's giving us this form to say, here's a leave request already set up. Title, well, this will be vacation in August. That's vacation in September. See you in September. Okay, see you in September. Leave type is, I want to get the heck out of here. No, earned leave. James is the manager, and start date would be, let's start it, well, Labor Day is the 7th, so let's take it, let's go to the week before Labor Day, and we'll get the extra day off, the Monday, right? So here we are on the 4th, those are the days. Description, off. Ooh, that's not good to do. I just jumped over the screen here. Here we go, good, I'm back. Fat fingered again. Okay, there we go. I'm telling you, these fingers are like, come on, fingers. You're fat fingering a little here. Okay, and which brings me to an interesting point about the bots. We're actually working, this is Skunkworks future, of a way of you talk to the bot through voice and say, oh, I want a vacation next week. And, we can go to that place with the bots. But right now we're still in a text format, and that's still, kind of bleeding edge stuff. It would save the trouble of fat finger and everything here. What does the person want to do? He wants a vacation in the mountains. I'm in California, we go up to the Sierras. He wants to go up to the Sierras, right? Don't take I-80 up there, it's crowded, but maybe go a different route, right? And Tahoe's way crowded these days too, so maybe not Sierras. How about some other place in the Sierras? Mount Shasta, vacation in Mount Shasta, right there. Vacation in Mount Shasta, right? Yeah, whatever you have to put there. Okay, submit it, Pavan, okay, go. Manager is James. Let's save it, and here we go. Now James is sitting there at home or wherever he's remote working from, and we'll see what James is doing over here in James's environment right here. James is over here in his chat. He's sitting there at home, and he just got, oh, look at this. James, the manager, just got a request to approve it. I mean, the bot sent him over here, Pavan's request to go to his vacation in Mount Shasta for that week of the 31st to the 4th. It's all in Teams, It's recorded in the back-end SharePoint database, but the people using it don't even have to go there. They're just like, okay, I need a leave request. He wants to take let's refresh. He got it, and you can see it in his portal here even, of seeing the vacation in September. Also here in the self-service bot, He entered it in. He can view his request and see my open request, seeing that he has a vacation request outstanding, waiting for James to come to make his decision on it. James is over there doing something or other. James, what are you doing? I don't know. You don't have to answer, James. It's rhetorical. So here's vacation in September. You can check on it. Here he's looking at his open request. Hey, when is James ever going to approve it? I mean, I got to make the plans, right? I got know what I'm supposed to bring. Can I go? So he's waiting. Okay, James, this is James. Now you can see, if you're into Teams, you see JR is James, PK is Pavan. This is two different screens, two different browsers, so I can play both roles, switch hats though. Not literally switching hats, but I'm switching browsers. Here we go. What should we do? Should we approve it? Yeah, let's approve it. Pavan's been working hard. Let's give him a break, and he can go here, make some comments. Have a nice time. Have a nice time. Be sure to to go to the hot springs nearby. It's California, a lot of hot springs around, right? Be sure to go to the hot springs nearby. Yeah, whatever you want to do. So he approved it. Nice guy, James. Thanks. Thank you. And now what you can have also done at this point is the workflows in the back-end system can start to inform the PTO people or inform other people or put it on a calendar, really whatever you want to do. But the action is happening in Teams, right? So now Pavan, you see I just slid James out of the way, and here's Pavan right here, PK, Pavan. Your leave request is approved. Earn leave request approved by James from blah, blah, blah. Have a nice time. You should go to Hot Springs. Click here to view the request if you want to. In the browser, open it up and take a look. All done in Teams, right? Pretty cool. So then we go over and look at all the requests that were made. If we're in the backend SharePoint admins and we like this kind of interface, whether in the classic or modern, we can see that, here's the vacation in September that Pavan just asked for. And it's been approved, and all that. And whatever workflows need to take place can take place now because it's been approved, and the workflows are run through our Nitro Studio workflows right here. Whatever happens upon approval, whatever you want to put there. So the point here is that whatever request management system you need, you just map it out, and you probably already know it. Most request managements are not that simple, not that complex. There is a request from a user. Maybe you could do it through the email. That's way back. I mean, people still use it though. You could do it to the SharePoint interface. You could do it through the portal, which is a nice engaging system, or you can do it through the bot. A lot of variety, a lot of possibilities, and exciting places we're going with the bots and all the capabilities of SharePoint, Office 365, and all that. Now I'm back in James. Now you realize something here. I don't know if I should point it out. Is that he could have done this on his mobile phone. Where is that request he was made? Yeah, leave request approved, disappeared. But it doesn't have to be in Teams. You have a Teams app. It would show up right in the Teams app. Press the approve button right there. It's one of those fat fingers I'm using. One of those fingers. And whatever you want to do, and then it would approve it right there. James, could be anywhere as long as he has access to Teams. He's good to go to approve it. So it's pretty cool. And meanwhile, all the back end stuff runs. Whatever happens when a vacation in September is necessary to do that, and then also there may be some reconciliation when the person comes back. Did he really spend the time? Did he go over? How much time he has left? All those kind of things. Now the bot also can be used here. He got his approval, but maybe he wants to just ask a question here in the HR system. Let's see, as a question. Please tell me more. How to add a dependent. Maybe he just had a child. I don't know. These are all just imaginary scenarios that we kind of make up as we go. Option from the list. What did I do? What did I do here? I have a question. I have a question or issue. Here we go. Okay. Okay, I don't know. I might have done. Okay, now please tell me more. Okay. How to add a dependent. How to add a dependent. An option from the list. What's going on here? Oh, I think I have to select. Okay, let me go here. Select application and go back to HR. Whatever. This is. I think. Here we go. HR. And then we go here and ask what he can do. For that, it's a question or issue. And now say let's just type dependence. And you better answer me right this time, bot. Not fine. Okay, insurance question. Okay. Every demo, you have to be embarrassed a little bit, right? Okay, information request, insurance request. What the interest in is pointing this out is that if your bot, if the bot can't answer the question, we have in our HR system here, I mean, in any system where we install the bot, telemetry, bot dashboard, right? And the bot dashboard will tell you what questions are not being answered. Let me go over to, I already have that up over here because I was going to talk about it. Here's the bot administrator dashboard. So you can tell what changes what questions have been asked that have not been answered, and therefore improve your bot as you go along so that it will get get better and better as it goes along. The bot runs 24/7, and it improves as you analyze these interactions and see what do we need to add to this to make it better and better and better. It's talking about different matches or not matches. I won't go into details of this, but it's some are resolved, not resolved, not resolved. So you can, and some are errors. So as you go through this, it improves the functioning of the bot. So if there was something here where it couldn't answer, you could go over to in this case, it's using the KB, and put in an article that will address that issue that has not been addressed. Where you see it wasn't addressed in the bot, right? So here's what we have here. These are what's in the knowledge base. So if I went back to the bot and asked about, let's see, I have a question or issue. It has to be something that's in the database, and we can help you build that database. Let's see if it answers on the parking, because should be there's a parking policy here. Select application. Let's go do that again. And we go to HR, and then let's do parking this time. Okay, parking. What can I do? Have a question or issue, and now do parking policy there. Tell me more. Parking. Not arcing, parking. Parking. Now it should come back. Parking policy, right? That's the kind of thing. That's what we want to see, right? And the person can say it's resolved or he needs more detail. Anyways, he can get a policy right there. Let's see if it does the thing with company holidays. Okay, it wants me to ask a question. So here we go. Question, I'll issue from the list, and company holidays. Okay, she's optional, whatever. So let's go over to the staff support bot and take a look at that. This is another one that we can, that's used by the staff, and I want to get that before the end of the webinar. So I'm going over to this and saying, this is a different style than the self-service bot. The staff support bot is oriented towards the staff and saying, okay, what are your tickets that are assigned to you? And if we look at the IT premium, for example, this is a person where we're looking at what applications this person, what assignments this person has, Pavan in this case, assigned to him, what IT premium, what IT help desk tickets are assigned to this person. So if he wants to view his assigned tickets, he can look there without ever going to the back end and see the tickets. The same idea with HR or access requests. You go there and see the ticket, open it up, take a look at it. Here, see the details, add a note, assign it to somebody else, resolve it. I can click here to view it in a request in a browser. They can also come in here, and if they want to create a new request for some reason, like for somebody who is maybe called them up and they just want to get it in there, they can have this simple request form to create a request that is recorded in the IT premium system. So, we're doing all kinds of things with bots, where we have these adaptive cards, we have these lists, we have these forms you can fill out. Really, this is full-scale Teams integration going on here. This is where we're taking, the experience of the application, the request management system, away from all that back-end SharePoint exclusively or email exclusively or these old forms exclusively, and putting it into a conversational architecture, an interactive conversational with the bot. So the end users, maybe they want to go to the portal and they like that interface, and that's something they want to engage with. That's okay. Or they want to go with the bot, they can go with the bot and start working with a bot in order to get their request resolved. And if the bot can provide an answer for them without engaging the back-end staff, what happens is that saves time for the end user, who gets the answer right away, and it saves time for the staff, who doesn't have to answer the same questions over and over and over again. I examine this in detail. The economic argument for bots is huge. I mean, it's like unfortunate in some sense that it is so compelling an argument. But another way of looking at it, well, it frees up the staff to go do other things, like that are important, rather than answer the same routine questions over and over again. So what we do with the bot service, we provide the bot, and then we work with you to implement it and configure it and get the back end information, the data sources in place. That could be a SharePoint KB list. It could be a database on the outside. It could be FAQs. It could be, all that. That's one part. And the other part is what workflows can be done inside of using the bot technology and teams to make it so that your operations are really moving to a whole nother level. Let me show you just this thing about the Nitro Workflows. I'll go to this one right here, Nitro Workflows, and how we've integrated this and our custom actions with the with Teams integration. Here we go with what are we doing here? Our send leave. Okay, I'll use this workflow as an example, showing you that in our workflow system, you can have any number of actions, and common actions like add a list item, update a list item, send an email, notification or alert, use these more sophisticated things like querying or variables, invoke a workflow, invoke a web service. But here's what really where it's starting to make a difference. Create a Teams channel, send email to a Teams channel, post an adaptive card. This gives the ability that from a ticket inside of a SharePoint, you're able to say create a Teams channel. Say you have a new project, you want to create a project for that a channel for that project. When the project is created, a channel is created in Teams. Maybe you want to communicate to a group in a channel in Teams that there's some update to a ticket or a new ticket's been created. That happens also. You can really interesting new capabilities, posting these adaptive cards with the information from the ticket to a particular person, like the manager or staff or something like that. It has information that the person just submitted it, and now there's actions that can be taken, that can take place. Approve, deny, like we just looked at for the Pavan's vacation in Mount Shasta. But there's also the ability, say you're at the end of a help desk ticket, you say, I want to know if the user approves this. You say, oh, hello, end user. Do you agree that this has been resolved or not? Or is it still open? You can do all kinds of questions like that. It doesn't have to be just 2 questions. It can be 3, 4, 5, options that the person can, be given in order to, do the work process inside of Teams and not have to go to the back end SharePoint. Because, these days people are working more and more, at least on Office 365, inside of Teams. And, you create a new channel. You can also, another thing we're seeing a lot with, and we'll probably go like more and more in this direction, but let me show you if it's here on this. Yeah. Now inside of Teams, see there's our portal with that nice blue background in Teams. This is in Teams. It is loading correctly. I don't know. This site won't load it. I don't know, whatever that meant. But here we are in Teams in the HR portal, showing the portal that's inside of Teams. It was there, okay. And now we're going to look at where's the other one? There was another one here, portal training. Anyway, you can show the portals inside of Teams, and then you have a full Teams experience going on that is available to people so they don't have to go back to SharePoint and do anything really. Here's where projects are created, new projects are created here every time a team, every time a channel is created, every time there's a new project, things like that. James, we're coming up near the end. I want to ask if there's any questions. Any questions there, James?
Yeah, here we are. All right. We had a question about creating and configuring workflows at one point in time. I think I think you went over that though. That we have workflows, Nitro Workflows in the tool to create workflows on the request list, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can do it's like so many different actions based on certain conditions, what the trigger is, created, modified, deleted. It could be scheduled. It could be any number of things. This is a very sophisticated workflow engine that can have any number of conditions. Like here, issue type is leave request. Then we're going to take these series of actions right here that are part of it. If I was in the access request system, I could be setting up things differently. For this access request, it's going to maybe Oracle send an email to the Oracle permissions. It's going to send an approval. It's the manager of whoever manages Oracle permissions, whatever group would get a message. It could set a response time. It could set a status. All these workflows can run as part of the creation of the ticket or modification of the ticket, or on a certain date, like say the due date is coming close and you want to do something about that. Also, the other thing here that happens in our forms is that you can have custom actions up on the ribbon. Like here, we have some custom actions we put in here. You can assign it, close it, assign it to somebody else, send email, print. And in our access request system, we have it set up so that there is, and let's see, when that form's open, there's actually buttons on the form itself that drive custom actions like this, escalate, any way you want to set this up to do it. So there's two kinds of things. Custom actions are for buttons on the form, either in the ribbon or the form itself, where you can go and take whatever action that is defined as. What does escalate mean? Well, that's defined by the series of actions. So that's defined by the series of whatever you set up when you do your forms design. What is the custom action? What does escalate really mean? What the icon is and all that. I can show that in the forms design here. If I'm in the access request, let me go over to access request forms design then here. What other questions come up while I fiddle around with this?
We had a question about workflow being resubmitted with previous data, similar to how you can do this with Microsoft Flow.
What was that again? I'm kind of like,
can a workflow be resubmitted with previous data, similar to how you are able to resubmit a flow?
I believe so. Yeah. And we could talk specifically, but yeah, I believe that can be done. That there is, the data is stored someplace and then it's resubmitted to resubmitted, right?
Yeah. I know in the custom action buttons, you can run them over and over as needed. You can also invoke a workflow in that way as well. So you can invoke a workflow, and you can actually invoke Microsoft Flows, Power Automate flows from the custom actions tool as well. So it integrates very, very nicely with the flow side of things.
Well, good point, James, because you're absolutely right that you can invoke a flow, a Power Automate flow from a Nitro flow. You can invoke a flow.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Let's see what else we got here. We had a question about integration with other third-party programs, but I think you touched on that already with the talking about integrating with other databases.
Yeah, we have that capability for sure. Let me just put something here just to show the one of the actions that we can have going on here is invoke a workflow, and that invoke a workflow could invoke one of SharePoint Designer workflows, one of our Nitro workflows, or Microsoft Flow. Really, we should change that to Power Automate, but invoke a Microsoft Flow or Power Automate. So you can invoke a flow from here, from a Nitro workflow can invoke a Microsoft Flow. Right? Yeah.
That's right. And then another question about the modern web parts. Are they available on pages other than the portal? And I'll just go ahead and answer it. I mean, yeah, those modern web parts come as part of Nitro Studio. We actually did a webinar, a workshop a couple weeks ago, I think it was, or a couple months. I'll have to get the exact date, but we have it up on our website where I talk about how you can add those modern web parts to a modern page and create your own kind of dashboard. So you get tiles, dials, quick tickets, all those things can be added to a page, to make it look like one-stop shop for, it's going to be a one-stop shop to go and see, okay, here's all the information I need to see from this list or this application.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work on that with the modern UI web parts right here. A lot of things there's a whole long list here. Scrolling through it rather quickly, I realize, but if you do want to go see what we have there, you can go to our our website and look at it. We're big into the modern UI because that's so much what Microsoft is pushing.
That's right.
As well as having a lot of really good capabilities in terms of mobile and development and that kind of stuff. I was on the forms designer here in the access request, showing that these buttons are whatever or can do whatever action you wanted to set, whatever custom action you created, and then you can go in and see what that custom action actually is by looking at the escalate action, and then you can see this is what that button will do. It will come in here and it will set priority to high, send email to James, sign to Pava. So from the form itself, by pushing this button, it's going to perform all those actions that you defined in your custom action settings. And people use this James, they use this all the time, right?
Yeah, I actually, personally, I kind of prefer the custom action buttons to the workflows, to be honest with you, because I think there's a lot more control over when it fires off. There's you can see it happening right there in front of you. There are cases where you want to have the workflow kind of running in the background, similar to like Microsoft Flow. It just kind of kicks off and you know it's happening, or sending a notification of some sort. But yeah, I actually like the custom actions being right there on the form.
Yes. Yes. For instance, with a lot of times the Nitro workflows are used on item creation here. So let's see if we have item creation workflow. So you have your item creation. When an access request is created, you can build all these different scenarios that happen. A lot of the action happens with a request management system when the item's first submitted. As long as you're gathering the right information as far as what kind of request it is, the dates of it's a leave request, or the type of access that's required, or the type of question it is, you can then base your actions on those conditions. So for example, you have this whole long set of actions, but this one's only going to run the create Oracle task when the condition is the person wants access to Oracle. Then it's going to do these different workflows. If the person wants access to SQL, then they'll get this post this adaptive card. It's a categories database and access to SQL. It's going to post this card to the manager in his or her team's environment with this information, all very highly configurable. So we say, request management is a much more fluid application than our standard out-of-the-box ones. We adapt it to very specific needs of the organization that has, and it could go all the way from a custom designed form, because you have to meet government or regulatory compliance rules that the form has to be that way, including ADA issues. That's another point of it. Or it can be done through a bot, or whatever way the user initiates the request. Next is the workflows and actions that take off to make that as automated as possible, whether it's an approval or notification, or sending updating the response time, or notifying a third party, or bringing in information from an external database, or kicking off a flow. All that's possible. And sometimes it's very, it ranges, right, James? Sometimes it's very simple to put those things in. Sometimes it takes, more complex, setup of how A does B, but then if there's C, it goes D, all very doable. It's just logic, really.
Right. Right. Well, that's the thing. Workflows, business processes can be quite complex, and by the Nitro workflow and the custom action, all the tools we have are designed with that complexity in mind, so you can put it together and have it work in a really seamless way.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea with the apps, the whole Nitro Studio set of tools, is that we're giving you a comprehensive system for managing business processes, and also just a way to power up your digital workplace. Digital transformation is the buzzwords of the day, I guess. So a lot of other things we never even touched on here, as far as our reporting capabilities, advanced approvals. If you have multi-complex serial parallel approvals involving for various criteria, if this then that, all kinds of possibilities. With branding, you go classic or modern with that. Conditional formatting, setting up the list with different KPIs and progress bars. Custom actions we touched on briefly. Email manager, email sync helps convert emails into tickets and keeps communication going back and forth if you are using email in that way. You can link items together whether they are in or out of your site collection in SharePoint. Roll up different lists into the same list. You have archive lists. You can have different lists that people want to see in one common interface. You can do search, very extensive. James just did a webinar on that yesterday, or well, a workshop really yesterday on list search. Different views of the list and different ways of presenting that information. The print manager is really useful in what it can generate as far as document generation and sending emails out or sending reports or scheduling weekly reporting. It's one thing Power Apps just doesn't have. I don't know. The printing here is really, we've done this for years, so it's very advanced as to what format you want to put and how you can style the template using whether HTML or Word templates or Excel or whatever. Tiles and dials, and then the advanced ones, with the AI services such as Azure Cognitive Services or natural language processing to get the knowledge base information. Bots, I just touched on bots a little bit in this webinar. Modern UI web parts we talked about, and Teams integration, and these are just legacy ones down here. But the point is that there is a lot in this system that has taken request management to a new level. That's my picture there. And so you have a lot of capabilities. Now, it's been an hour, so a little over an hour, sorry. So let's any other questions, James? Because we can, I can wrap it up.
Yeah, just a couple questions about pricing, but I think we can follow up with those afterwards.
All right, just let you know there's some more upcoming webinars next week. A week from today, I'll be doing one on Nitro Studio specifically and go deep into the forms and workflows and custom actions and how that can replace InfoPath and SharePoint 2010 workflows, both of which are being deprecated and phased out by Microsoft pretty aggressively. And September 3rd, there's by Ryan's going to do a help desk solution and go into depth into our help desk solution, particular application, and then I'll go talk about build a better bot and all the development and everything behind it. A lot of activity in the bot world. If you're interested in that, let's talk. It's very, very powerful tool for engaging end users, getting them answers. Runs 24/7, gets smarter as it runs. Many compelling reasons to investigate that further. All right, I think we're good here, and I appreciate everyone attending, taking the time out to listen to me go on and on about request management systems. It's what we do here. It's what we, it's our hearts into and our energy all day long. So we hope that it's been useful. And please, the real question is, get in touch, talk to us. Don't be afraid. We'll try and reach out to you, but get a conversation going and see if this software or Microsoft Office 365 will work for you, along with what we provide on top of it, or SharePoint on premises. Also, we work there also. Some people can't go to the Power Platform because they're on SharePoint on premises. Nitro Studio is excellent solution for your workflow and forms needs on SharePoint on premises. So, let's talk and stay in touch. And I hope everyone has a good day. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye for now.